web exclusive material.
If you really want to know what's on the minds of Americans, you need to ask my next guest. Year in, year out, he talks to thousands of Americans from all walks of life, and he gets to the heart of what's going on in our minds. His latest book is called What People Really Want. Really. Pulser Frank Luntz is here. Frank,
Pleasure.
Great to have you here. Your book is a fascinating insight into the American psyche, and one of the things that intrigues me is the methodology. It's one thing to say, this is what Americans are thinking. A lot of people want to know, how do you know that?
Well,
how do you know?
If you've talked to 1 million people over the last 15 years on telephone, face-to-face, email, sessions like these, this book has a poll in it. 6,400 people responded for a 4-month period to questions about values, morality, government, employment, religion. And what I tried to do for an audience like this is to give the playbook for what Americans really want to make their jobs more satisfactory, to make government work better. If you want to know the language, and what's frustrating to me is I watch these town hall meetings, and there's a lot of passion and emotion, but it's not necessarily effective. In this book is what to say at the town hall meeting. In this book is what to say to a member of Congress to have the greatest impact.
I know that you have built a career talking about the fact that words matter. Previous book was called Words That Work. A word that you talk about in this book that doesn't really work is the word capitalism, but the word entrepreneur works.
Yes.
So why? What's the difference?
Because when you hear the word capitalism, you think of the CEOs that made a lot of money, and you think of the people who lost their jobs. When you hear the free market system, you think of Wall Street. Economic freedom is what we still believe in. The principle is still there, but the language has changed. You can't call something tort reform, which is what the Republicans are trying to do in Washington, because most Americans think torts are a French pastry. And you don't call them personal injury lawyers. I mean, you do call them personal injury lawyers because when I say personal injury lawyer, they probably think ambulance chaser. So there's a right way and a wrong way. Don't call it the estate tax, call it the death tax. Don't call it drilling for oil, call it exploring for energy.
What is it Americans really want?
If they really want to believe that this country will be better for their children. Two of the statistics that bothered me the most in doing the research. Only 57% of Americans think that the country will be better off in the future, and 44% think that their kids will actually inherit a worse quality of life than them. We've never had this sense of intergenerational pessimism that their kids are going to be worse off.
We've always been a nation that sort of said, you know, whatever my generation is going through, we're going to lift our kids up on our shoulders. They're going to see things we've never seen. They're going to do things we've never done. They're going to go places we've never gone, because that's what America is. The next generation, it gets it a little better than the one before. And I've certainly lived that, and I think many of us have. That is a frightening thing if Americans have started losing their optimism when they really need to be thinking about what could be best for their kids. How do we fix that?
I'm going to give you 6 ways, and it's all in here, and I'm going to do it fast.
Okay.
If you want your children to be happy, healthy, well-adjusted, and drug-free and alcohol-free, number 1, how often do you have dinner with them? You have to have dinner with your kids 5 nights a week or more, because that says that your children matter more than anything else in life. Number 2, you take them to religious services, because then they believe in something greater than them. It changes how they relate to everything in life. Number 3, you check their homework 3 nights a week or more, because it's intellectual. The development is as important as how we develop physically. Number 4, do you demand the truth where they are on Friday and Saturday nights, and do they tell you the truth? Because if they'll lie about that, they'll lie about everything. Number 5, you have to go on a 1 week, at least a week trip with them, and you leave the BlackBerry at home. You do not text. I've seen parents text in front of their children, and how damaging that is. And number 6, the kids participate in a team sport, and they learn about respecting each other and their colleagues. Those are 6, and they're in order, by the way, the 6 most powerful indicators of happiness and health, and that's what this is meant to be. It's actually meant to give you the ingredients to learn to appreciate government again. And by the way, what do we want most out of government? In a word, and you guys got the chart if you want to pull it up there. More than anything else, we want accountability. We're tired of Washington telling us what they think we want to hear. We want people who look us straight in the eye and say what we mean and mean what we say.
And I tell you what, they're looking me straight in the eye and telling me that if I don't end the segment, the show will be over. Frank,
thank you.
What Americans Really Want, that's the name of the book. 6 great ideas. I have never heard it put so succinctly ever. Thank you very much, Frank Luntz. Coming up, their work behind the scenes.